Living in the United States, I don't get a lot of exposure to the BCG vaccine or the information because we don't recommend the BCG vaccine. That's the tuberculosis vaccine in really almost anybody, especially our little kiddos. But I get this question a lot because it is recommended in so many other countries, mainly Eastern Europe, some places in the UK, or some, I guess, people in the UK, India, Indonesia, Brazil, a lot of Latin America. They still use the BCG vaccine and it's recommended for newborns. Well, what is tuberculosis and why do we even use this vaccine? Tuberculosis is an infection of the lungs that can cause death if not treated appropriately. It impacts around 11 million people every year, and 1.2 million people die from tuberculosis every single year. Adults make up 85 to 90% of cases and deaths. So it's still pretty rare for a child to contract TB and die from TB. But when a child does get tuberculosis, it is significantly. You can treat tuberculosis. There is a regimen that we generally use. It's called RIPE. It has 4 different medications that can get rid of this mycobacterium, but because it is a highly resistant bacteria, sometimes it takes multiple courses, longer courses, or even adjustments to the antibiotic course that we give these people. And these drugs are not the nicest drugs. They can cause a lot of toxicities. So ideally, not getting tuberculosis would be best. In the U.S., we have about 10,000 cases of TB reported every year. It's usually from immigration or people who went to other countries that have tuberculosis. We don't generally have it in our population. The people who get it usually live in high population areas like India, where they have billions of people, or they're malnourished, or they have poor access to care. And because of those risks, in certain countries, it's recommended to give 1 dose of the BCG or tuberculosis vaccine at birth. There's no one specific vaccine either. It depends on what region you live in. So Eastern European, UK, they have a completely different vaccine than Japan, than India, than Brazil, than Russia. There are so many different BCG vaccines. They're formulated slightly differently, and their effectiveness is different as well. Now, studies looked at the effectiveness of each strain, each type of regional vaccine, and they didn't see any main differences in the vaccine themselves, but there are differences in the effectiveness of the vaccine depending on the region you live in. There's a theory behind that. They think that the mycobacterium is in the soil, it's in the dirt of regions like India and Indonesia, which means that people exposed to mycobacterium in their soil may develop a tolerance to the tuberculosis, which means that if they get the vaccine, it's not quite as effective because they didn't necessarily need it to begin with.